So what I've decided to do is, obviously it's a switching layout. I just had to think about what sort of scale I wanted, and I find HO is pretty good for switching. It just gives nice smooth prototypical speeds, and the magnetic coupling and uncoupling works really well with HO. So that's the scale I've decided to go with. The one over here I've been building for the past few months is N scale, which is not much of a switching layout. I mean, there's a few switching options in there, but mainly just to run trains around. Whereas this one I want to be specifically for switching operations and to be modular, so I can just add to it. Whereas the N scale one, it's a closed loop, so there's not much room for expansion there. I'm sure I could, but I think I like this type of shelf modular setup a little bit better. So the prototype I'm going to model is mining operations, and specifically in the Pilbara region of Australia. Broadway Limited do a model, the BHP Bilton AC6000. This is going to go in the garage. I've got heaps of space in the garage around the walls, so I started out, this is 1 metre modules by 45 centimetres, and at the moment I've got 3 of them, and there's heaps of room for expansion there. And if we do move house, because we're only renting, so it'll be easier to dismantle and move and put back together. So once I had the space worked out and the size of the table, I went out and drew up a track plan here. I just drew this on paint. I did it hand drawn first and used some reference material. There's a lot of books from Model Railroader. The Ian Rice series was very helpful. It's got shelf layout designs and bits and pieces like that, so I went and did that. I came up with a design. So all the spots are marked out from 1 to 8, and I'll go through what each spot is. Number 1 is the loco servicing shed. Number 2 is a spare siding for any passenger cars that I might have on the layout, or rolling stock that can't get to its position, so it can just wait on the side there. Spot 3 is for the rolling stock servicing shed. For any rolling stock, obviously, that got damaged or needs repair before heading out again. Number 4 is the loading and unloading dock for any mining equipment that will be taken off using forklifts or whatever, put onto trucks and driven out to the mine. Spot 5 is a diesel fuel tank, and similar to spot 6, that's a petrol fuel tank for unleaded petrol. Number 7 is store supplies and dry food, and spot number 8 will be the cold food storage area. So that's the track plan. After I had an idea of how I wanted the track plan to look, basically what I'm up to now is laying it out and drawing it onto the module. So I've just done this module at the moment, so I've just marked in all the track lines in pencil. I've downloaded these Pico templates off the internet because I am using Pico Streamline Code 83 Electro Frog turnouts, and I've got the Diamond Crossing here, also Code 83 from Pico. So I downloaded all that, and I've got the other ones here. Once I had an idea, what I did first was put the buildings on, and I've got a building, well, I'm scratch building all the buildings, so I've got one of them here, I'll show you. I've just made this out of balsa wood, which all the framing underneath, it's all balsa wood, and the roof and the trimmings here are balsa wood. And for the walls, It's not styrene, but it's just a plastic, like when you get a plastic folder. All it is plastic folder, and it had a bit of a contours on it. So when you sort of look at it in the right light, it gives that look of the corrugated shed siding. And the same on the bottom here, except I use the other side of the plastic, so it's simulating more of a cement wall there. And I'm going to redo that because I didn't paint it very well, but the roller door there, some of the stripes are not quite equally spaced. So yeah, anyway, so I had this built up already, so I placed this on the layout to give me an idea of where that's going to sit. I've got to build the rolling stock servicing shed, so once I get that built, I'll put that on and I'll just place it all, make sure everything fits nicely. So from that layout, I still had a couple of extra tortoise slow motion switch machines, so I'm going to use those on this one, but I needed some more, and I thought I'd give the Cobalt switch motors a shot. So I haven't had these running yet. They look pretty good. They're a lot smaller than the tortoise, as you can see here, quite a bit smaller actually, and you don't need any soldering. With the tortoise ones, you have to solder onto these points here. With the Cobalt, it's all solder free, so you just push down on the tab here, it opens up, you poke your wire in there, let it go, and it grips onto your wire. Also, another neat thing with the Cobalt is once it does reach its throw, it's locked into the position, you can't move it, so you can have it depowered and it'll hold the point across, which is good, whereas the tortoise motors, you need to keep the power on to keep the tension on the rail, otherwise once it relaxes, even a small amount of tension will slowly ease off the pressure. There, so so I'm looking forward to wiring those up. They look, the Cobalt ones, I'm interested to see how they run. Some reviews online said they were a little bit quieter than the tortoise, but we'll see. And I want them to run nice and slow, so it says, I think 6 to 12 volts, so I'll probably use the lower voltage. I'll probably put a 6 volt power supply to that and the tortoise ones, so they run a little bit slower, because I like that. I got my rail joiners and the insulated rail joiners, because they're all electro frogs, so I'll have to wire them carefully. And also from Pico, I was looking at the Hatton's website. There's plenty of information on track laying, and these are really cheap. They cost about, Aussie dollars, it's about $1 to $1.50, depending on which ones. Signalling, wiring, it's all here, so I'll have a look at those and see how that goes. So that's about it. That's where I'm up to. The next couple of videos will probably be, I'm waiting on the road bed, so I'm just going to put cork road bed down. So I think in the next video I'll have the rest of this drawn up, and I will also be putting down cork, getting things underway. So I'm looking forward to that.